All right, so we're going to talk about arithmetic sequences, and I know that word looks like arithmetic, but whenever it is used as an adjective, apparently it's pronounced differently. So the topic is going to be 10.2 arithmetic sequences in series. All right, and today is 3rd. So an arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which the difference between any two terms is constant. So these are the sequences where they're going up by the same value each time, or they're going down by the same value each time. And the common difference is that numerical difference between two terms. And it's going to always be represented by lowercase d for difference, obviously. And to find it, you can take a term, so let's say the second term, and subtract the first term from it, or take any term and subtract the previous term from it. That's going to give you the common difference. Now, sometimes you can just look at it and tell what the common difference is right away. Sometimes, especially with some negatives or if there's fractions or decimals, it's a little more difficult to figure it out. But on this first example, what we're going to do is just determine if it's an arithmetic sequence, which means it has to be going up by the same amount or going down by the same amount. Determine that common difference if it is arithmetic, and then give the next three terms. All right, so let's look at number 1. If we want to look at it, can you tell, is it arithmetic? Is it going up or down by the same amount? What is that amount? 3. So it's going up by 3 each time, all the way through all the numbers that we check. So we would say yes, it is arithmetic. D is 3. And then the next 3 terms, we're just going to keep adding 3. Oops. All right. All right, let's look at, I don't think we're going to do all of these, but we'll do several. Let's look at 2. Bless you. Are these going up or down by the same amount each time?
Yes.
What is it?
7.
Yeah, so we're going down by 7 each time. So we say yes. And then D is going to be -7. And then we're just going to keep on subtracting 7 to get the next 3 terms. Oops. All right, let's look at number 3. Yeah, this one's gonna be no. So we go up by 1, and then up by 1 again, but then we go up by 2. So as soon as you see that it doesn't work, you're just gonna say no, and then you're gonna be done. You don't have to keep going. All right, let's skip down to number 5. All right, so -20 to -10, that's adding 10. -10 to -5, is that adding 10 again? Definitely not. That's adding 5. So as soon as you see that it's different, you're just going to say no and go on to the next problem. All right, any questions on determining if it's arithmetic?
So if it's going up by like 1 or like 1, 1, 1, 1, and it's the yes.
Yes. Or 2, 2, 2, 2, or 3, 3, 3, 3. It has to be going up or down by the same amount every time for it to be arithmetic. Okay, so remember when we were doing those, we call it the explicit formulas, and some of them were kind of difficult to figure out, and I told you not to stress about it because I was going to show you a way to always do it. So today's the day. We're going to learn the way to write the explicit formula for arithmetic sequences without having to like try different things. You just straight up can do it. So the formula is going to be a sub n. So if you want to find the first term, you're going to plug 1 in. You want to find the 20th term, you're going to plug 20 in. It's going to be equal to a sub 1 plus, in parentheses, n minus 1, and then that's multiplied by d. Now, I have the reference sheet for the EOC, and this formula is on here. So this is not something that you have to memorize. So don't worry about having to keep it in your brain. As long as you can remember what the parts mean, you can just use the formula. And I'll give it to you if we have a quiz or test on it. I will always give you this formula. But what does a sub 1 mean? A sub 1? The first term. Good. All right, and then D is what we learned about today. That's the common difference. Okay, now we're not going to do all of these examples. We're just going to kind of skip around a little bit, but we are going to do number 7. So I'm going to put the formula up at the top. All right, so we need two things to be able to write this rule. We need the first term, which you can just look at the list and see the first term is -5. And we need the common difference. So to find the common difference, you might just be able to tell by looking at the numbers. If you can't tell, you would take the second term and subtract the first term from it, or take the fourth and subtract the third. So what do you guys think? What is the common difference? 4, yeah. We're going up by 4 each time. So I'm going to take those two things and I'm going to plug them into the formula. So this -5, I'm going to put where the a sub 1 is. Right, n minus 1 just stays n minus 1. And then I'm going to take this 4 and put it where D is. All right, that is the first part of the directions. That is writing the rule for the sequence. And then the second part of this is to find the indicated term. So they're asking us to find the 24th term. So we're going to take that 24, oops, and we're going to just put it in for n. And then you can just let your calculator figure that out if you want to. Right, so that means the 24th term is going to be 87. All right, we're going to do another one. So if it's still a little weird, just hang in there. We're going to use this formula a lot today. So let's look at number 8. Let me zoom out so we can see the formula. All right, start off by writing the rule. So a sub n equals, we're going to take our first term, and then plus n minus 1 in parentheses. And then we're going to multiply it by the common difference. So what do you guys think? What is the common difference here? Good, -9. Now, if it's a negative, I usually will, if I'm multiplying by it, put it in parentheses so it doesn't look like it's subtracting 9. So just be careful with that. Oh, whoops. All right, so that's our rule. And then this time it's asking us to find the 15th term. So we can type that in. Now, if you wanted to do 15 minus 1 in your head and just make that 14, you can, or you can type it in exactly like it looks. It's completely up to you. So the 15th term should be negative 106. All right. What questions do you guys have so far? Okay. Now the next two are a little bit more challenging because we don't have consecutive terms. So it's going to be more difficult to figure out what D is, but we can still do it. So this time we are still going to find that rule, but we don't have a whole big list of terms. So what we're going to do to find D, we're still going to subtract these, but we're going to do the third term minus the first term. But since they're not consecutive, that's not going to be D. So on the bottom, we subtract the term number minus the term number. So that's what you're subtracting on the bottom. So it's kind of like the slope formula. Actually, it's exactly like the slope formula. You probably haven't thought about the slope formula in a while, maybe since Algebra 1, but so what we would do is we would subtract negative 7 minus 3 on the top. Oh, I already wrote that. Sorry. So when you subtract that, that's going to be negative 10 over 2 or negative 5. All right, and then we are given already the first term. We don't need to rewrite it. So a sub n is going to be this first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference. All right, so that is the rule. And then the second thing we're going to do is find the 12th term. All right, and so you would just type that in the calculator, and you're going to get negative 52.
Do we have to rewrite it so many times?
We're really only rewriting it once with n, and then writing it once with 12.
But can we just put like A12 equals negative 52? You know, split it.
I want you to write the rule for sure.
Okay.
Because it tells you to. Writing the rule is this one that's a sub n.
Okay.
All right, let's look at 12. So these are not consecutive terms, so we're going to have to do kind of like the slope formula, where we actually subtract the 6 minus negative 17 on the top. And then what should we subtract on the bottom?
24 minus 1.
There you go, 24 minus 1. All right, and so what this ends up giving you, if you typed in the calculator, it would give you 23 over 23, which is just 1. Okay, so when it tells you to write the rule, that's the a sub n equals the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference. So I do want to see that.
How did you get 1?
Do you know how I got this part?
Yeah.
Well, when you do that, that's 23, and then that's 23. Because when you subtract a negative, you add a positive.
So you don't put it in the calculator?
You can. Yeah, put it in the calculator just like that. You should still get 1. Did you not?
Negative 11 over 23.
So you didn't subtract negative 17. or you didn't subtract. It has to be 6 minus negative 17.
Oh,
All right, so then this one, we're still finding the 12th term. Now multiplying by 1 doesn't really do anything, so if you don't type that in the calculator, it's fine. Either way, our 12th term is going to be negative 6. Yes, ma'am.
How did the way that we like put it in the like the negative 10 over 2 like that, how did that change from the two columns?
Okay, so this one, I just wrote it over here for some reason. I don't really know why, but we did the same thing. We did negative 7 minus 3 on the top. And on the bottom, we did 3 minus 1. And I just did it step by step. You could have typed it in just like that.
Okay, so it goes by the two like top numbers and then the subs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought it.
All right, any other questions? Okay, now there is another rule to do a sum, but we're not going to do the rule. We're going to use what we already learned yesterday, and what we learned today to do it is going to be easy. So remember or recall that a series is the sum of a sequence. And there is a rule, but it's not on the reference sheet, and I don't think it's important that we use it. So we're going to use a summation. So if we're asked to find S sub n, which means the sum of the first so over many numbers in the sequence, we're going to do the summation. So see if you guys can draw a sigma. All right, and then at the bottom, we're going to have n equals 1 to whatever number is here. So in a second, we're going to do one where that number is 10. And then the next one, that number is going to be 8. So whatever the subscript is of your S, that goes on the top. And then the function part is just the rule. So it's a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. And then you can just type it in, and the calculator just adds up the terms like super fast. All right, now because we're not using the actual formula, this stuff right here doesn't make sense, so you can just kind of mark it out. Okay, so here we go. We're going to find S sub 10, which means that we're adding up the first 10 terms. So see if you guys can draw another summation. On the bottom, it needs to be n equals 1, and the top needs to match whatever is here goes on the top. So the first 10 terms. All right. Then we're going to do the same thing we've been doing this whole lesson. We're going to write our formula where we need the first term, which is going to be 2, and we need the common difference. What is that going to be?
2.
Also 2. Good. And then we're just putting them into the formula. So it's the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference. All right, so how do I get that summation symbol?
Alpha window 2.
Good job. Alpha window 2. All right, and then we'll just fill everything in. Now, you can use n if you want, but I'm just going to use x. Okay, so I typed it just like I wrote it, and that sum is 110. And that's it. All right, we're going to do one more. So it's asking you to do S of 8 is the sum of the first 8 terms. So on the bottom, I'm going to start with n equals 1. What am I going to put on the top? 8. Good. All right. Then I have to write my rule like we've been doing the whole class. So a sub 1 is the first term, which is negative 6. What is d? It's less easy to just do in your head this time.
13.
Negative 13. So since they're going down by 13 each time, the d is negative 13. And so we do our formula where it's the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference. Okay, so that's negative 412. And I don't feel like we need to do 15 and 16 because that's what we did yesterday. I feel like, I mean, you'll get some more practice with that, but bless you. But that's the same. Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to give you your assignment. You're not doing all of them. I'll explain what that means.